This podcast is part of the Listen Frederick Podcast Network. To learn more, visit listenfrederick.com.
What's up, everybody? It's episode 70 of Beers in the Lot. In this episode, we talked a little bit about the events of the Old Fat Bald Guys Hockey League Championship Weekend and the good times had during and after the games. Then we got into the Olympics and ended up talking about the fringe Olympic hockey countries and how they're building their player pools. And then we bashed John Tortorella for his take on the Milano and Zegras goal. All in all, it's a good time. Here we go.
Welcome back, Aaron. What are you drinking?
Thanks, buddies.
Welcome back.
Congratulations.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, I have a Blue Moon Belgian white. Nothing too fancy, you know? Just ease back into things. You know, I've been having some less sleep these last few nights, so just going to take it easy.
Did you put an orange slice in it?
I did not.
Oh, it's only a serving suggestion.
Yeah, right.
That's how they do it. That's how they do it over in Germany. I've been on good authority.
What are you drinking tonight, John?
I'm drinking from Kona Brewing, Hanalei Island IPA, because I'm an island boy. So yeah, so I'm drinking tonight. Daniel, what are you drinking tonight?
So I'm also a island boy. I'm drinking a island coastal lager.
Nice.
So what do you got tonight, Riggs? Snake dog. Flying dog, snake dog.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
I didn't
really stray too far from the home office today. So no new beers.
No.
It was a little bit of a late beer league night last night.
That's what I hear.
A little
How'd
bit.
that go?
Well, you know, I'll just say this. All's right with the world. We'll just leave it at that. The good guys won.
Here we go.
The good guys won. Bad guys lost. That's all you got to say.
Ridiculous.
Well, it was championship weekend, right? A weekend of champions, right?
Yeah. Fall season championship weekend. So Johnny and I were consoled.
Yeah.
In a consolation game, yeah.
We smashed our opponent.
Yeah, all of a sudden we started scoring goals.
Yeah,
Weird.
kind of weird.
Yeah, in a game that doesn't matter.
Well, we play better when our minds are free.
Play better when you don't give a shit. Yep.
Yeah, that too.
And Danny was on the wrong team.
Yep.
In the championship.
Wrong team.
Oh well.
We lost the game in the first period. Never recovered.
That'll happen to you.
Yeah, they scored 5 on us in the first, and then
Oof.
They scored 2 after that. 3. They scored 3 the rest of the game. And final was 8-4. Just never recovered from that first period.
How many of the 4 were you?
Just one.
Just one? Yeah.
Just
Used
one.
up all 5 last game, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So as Mike Babcock would say, your team didn't start on time. That's the problem.
Exactly.
You guys didn't start on time. Can't do that. We started on time in our game. We came out shooting.
This game.
Yeah, Johnny got accused of being a tryhard in a consolation game.
Yeah, just because I was skating. I don't know. The best part about that entire sequence, late in the game, I got was it my 3rd or 4th breakaway of the night somehow. I missed a touchdown pass that didn't go for icing. I had my elbow and I was leaning on the other team's bench, just talking trash to them in a funny way. Like, just like, this game sucks. Can't wait till this is over. This is horrible. So then finally I go back in our defensive zone. Eric's at the point high with a forward cutting up, and I just kind of slowly creep behind the defenseman. And as soon as they threw the puck over to the defenseman, I just popped it forward and went. And the best is everyone's like, I didn't even see him there. And, I'm accused of being this cherry picker and whatnot. It's try hard. It's blasphemous. I don't appreciate it.
That I missed it. Sounds like a good time. But
Yeah.
The real action was after the game. Is that what I'm gleaning?
Yeah.
Depends on how you look at it.
Had some Christmas tunes going on.
No,
for
it was fun.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
We had a good
Johnny-
little time.
Yeah. Johnny had the Christmas tunes going. Somebody had a Jack Daniels Advent calendar that was getting passed around.
It was all 25 days of Christmas yesterday.
Nice.
For those of you keeping score at home with the Advent calendar.
Yeah, it was a good way to end the fall 2021 season of Old Fat Ball Guys. Yeah.
A fitting end.
Now it's time to start the off-season training. Two fisting beers and watching Christmas movies.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't been keeping up with hockey much this past week at all. So you guys are going to have to put me on your back like Daniel did last week.
Well, let me ask you this question. What would you do if you were forced to quarantine in a foreign land for 3 to 5 weeks?
3 to 5 weeks. Ooh.
We'll clarify it a little bit more. If you were to quarantine 3 to 5 weeks in the People's Republic, we'll just leave it at that.
Do I have an internet connection? That's my question.
Maybe, and it's most likely monitored.
Yes.
And
if I don't
filtered.
have internet, then I'm just not going. I'm not even going to go. It's not worth it.
Then you probably have something in common with, I don't know, 75% of the prospective NHLers headed to the Olympics.
Oof.
Yeah, because they didn't officially say it. It was kind of funny. So a while back, it was a 3-week quarantine, and the way apparently like the travel schedule is, it's like all-star break, private planes, taking players to Beijing, and then you're there, and then right after the gold medal game, like, same way they always are pretty much. You have like 3 hours, and you're getting on a flight, you're heading out. If you're in a gold medal game and you test positive that day, you're not leaving on that plane.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're in an astronaut suit or whatever. And now it's between the IOC, IIHF. They said it could be 3 to 5 weeks because that's apparently policy in China. And and I learned this little tidbit, which is kind of interesting. January 10th, how everyone said that's a drop dead date for, if they're going or not. That's the last day they can withdraw without a penalty. After that, there's a penalty they have to pay. And I don't know if that's split between like the IOC, IIHF, and the NHL Players Association. I don't know how that was worked out. But that was kind of interesting because I almost think like if the player's already on the hook for it, they may like kind of extend it. But also, Robin Leonard came out last week, said he straight up doesn't want to go. Pietrangelo didn't say he's not going, but definitely had an issue with the quarantine. Both of those guys are on the same team, so I'm sure they're talking about it a little bit. There are more guys talking about it, and I wouldn't be shocked if more guys just are kind of waiting and then hoping the situation kind of maybe deals with itself. We'll just leave it at that, and then that way they don't have to declare or not. But
So
we'll see. We'll see.
What's the pause and play look like? Do they have that set up, or
the break's built in? But you also got to remember, like, some of the games they had to postpone already for. I mean, who was it? Ottawa, the Islanders, San Jose had to take a break, and as of today, Calgary had to take a break. I don't know how many of those games actually were rescheduled yet. So they already have like that built-in, 16, 17-day break in the schedule for the Olympic Games. But they still, I think the NHL owners and I think even the players too, like they want to get this season complete. I don't think anybody wants to play 70 games or any less.
Yeah, no. I can't imagine anybody wants to play less than 82.
Some players do. The passengers on teams, maybe.
The older guys.
They don't want to get paid for 82. I'll tell you that much.
they want their paycheck for 82, but only play 52. So, yeah. And then the other thing that is, I don't know how it works. If they kind of, like if USA Hockey just says we're not sending NHL players and Hockey Canada does the same thing. I imagine for NHL PA, it's like all or nothing. Like either all the eligible players get to go or none of them go. But then if you're USA Hockey, do you have a backup plan? Like Team Canada is a little bit of a buffer because they have the Spangler Cup. Like Claude Julian's coaching that. Shane Doan's GM, and they already said if there's an issue with the NHL PA going, like that's the management and coaching group. And essentially players will just send to the Olympics, like kind of like a proxy squad. USA Hockey, to my knowledge, has nothing like that because we don't do any international men's tournaments at that bracket. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think they have anything as solid as Canada does. But I know that I saw something maybe like a month ago about them looking at other options, players and such. So, but who knows? Maybe they'll just bag it, right? Not even go through that effort. But
who are the only really like federations that could send, I wouldn't even call it capable squad, but a squad, like worthy of one that you could like label Olympic hockey.
The Russian Committee of
They're
Russian
all dopers.
Athletes,
We'll
whatever it's called.
They're doping. Yeah. Olympic athletes of Russia. Like,
That's
come
what it's
on.
called.
Get out of here. So sick of that. I've seen it everywhere too. The Olympic trials and stuff. Oh, makes
Doesn't
me
one of the
puke.
stands have a squad that was actually
Kazakhstan qualified a few years ago. Yeah.
Kazakhstan, right?
And then Slovenia, where Anze Kopitar, they actually qualified in the last Olympics.
Latvia? Doesn't Latvia always?
Latvia's in the Olympics. They won Division 2, so they're in Division 1. So that's like Teddy Bluger, yeah.
And
so
somebody else that you'll be like, oh yeah, that guy when you hear his name.
I think
I don't remember
a small country like that, like Latvia, like they qualified for this Olympics. Like I'm sure like Team Canada, like some of those guys, even though they're like, like a guy probably like McDavid, maybe he's probably like, if we miss this one, I'll get the next one. Like I'm sure he's bent, but like Teddy Bluger is probably like, I don't get another chance. Like,
yeah,
Latvia has to, qualify.
At
and
the
China
same time,
has an automatic bid too, which I don't know how I feel about that. They're going to get worked. So
you got to think too, though, that a guy like Teddy Bluger knows that if he's going to the Olympics representing Latvia, he's not going to win a medal. He knows he's not winning a medal.
Hey
like,
man,
the
strange stuff
experience
happens.
would be awesome. Like if I was going to be on a team that I knew absolutely would not win, then I'd want to go for the experience, of course. But I wouldn't be like, man, I'm never going to get a shot to get Olympic gold again when I never really had a shot to begin with.
I think it's different for the European players and the culture that they come from. I think, putting on like here, you put on the USA sweater and you represent red, white, and blue, and the Canadians, it's a big deal just because, they have to defend um, the birthplace of hockey, and the
stand on guard for
rightful
thee.
cultural owners of it, or whatever they want to call it. But I think for the European guys or players, I think that's actually a goal that they really have, that rivals playing professionally, and playing in North America and that kind of thing. I think for them, it's like, they come out of the club model, and the goal is to make, the national team.
Yeah, I get that.
First,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Right. And if he's like the only NHLer for Latvia, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal for him, yeah.
For him to put on that uniform and to represent in that tournament,
Well, and two, some of those guys, like, if they can get decent enough standings in the group stage, or even, let's say, make it to the knockout round, like maybe you upset someone in a 1-goal game, you win 3-2, 4-3, something odd like that. You never know. Then all of a sudden they're not relegated, and they're in the next Olympics as well. So that goes a long way for those countries. I mean, because that standing also doesn't affect just the Olympics. That impacts World Championships, World Junior Championships. That goes a long way for some of the, especially like Latvia, like a smaller hockey country like Latvia. I mean, much smaller compared to some of the other traditional European ice hockey federations we know. Like every Olympic they're in, World Championship and World Junior, they're always in Tier 1. It's just the way it is. But there's
for these smaller countries with smaller player pools, by nature of just the sheer size of the population, or the fact that they just don't have as many hockey players in the country, it helps them build that player pool up, because it starts to feed that youth hockey pipeline. It inspires kids to go and play. Hey, I could be the next Teddy Bluger, right, and play for Latvia in the Olympics. So
I was going to go there too. It's got to be great for those, like you said, the pipelines.
Yeah, and it gets that momentum.
It's good for hockey.
Absolutely.
Good for hockey in the country.
Absolutely. So that's why I advocate really for having best on best. If it means that Latvia only has one guy that plays in the NHL, that's what it means, because they have a smaller player pool. But it also means that the next time they come up and they make, the tournament, they might have more guys. They might have more players. So it's cool. It's not just to see best on best USA versus Canada, although that is one of the primary motives.
The other thing too, like the Latvian teams that have gone to the Olympics. I mean, yeah, they've got Teddy Bluger this year, but which years do they have no one? So
right,
it's progress. If they've got guys that are in the NHL, then that means it's working. It's doing good things for hockey in the country. So, like you said, it's building up that player pool. And I don't know what the population of Latvia is, but it's small compared to some of the other countries, and they're sending a team to the NH or to the Olympics. That's actually pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's
out of that small player pool, they've got a team that's good enough to qualify. That's actually really good.
That's actually what's so interesting about Finland and Sweden is their player pool of hockey players.
Massive. Everybody plays hockey.
Where? In Finland and Sweden?
In Finland and Sweden?
No.
Oh, really?
No. The rate, when you compare the rates of Finland and Sweden to the USA or Canada or even Russia, like it's not, they don't have as many players playing. And so it's very interesting that they're able to develop the number of high level elite players that they do.
That is interesting. I honestly, I thought it was exactly the opposite. I mean, I know there's places in the United States where you have to drive 3 to 4 hours to get to an ice rink.
But
Arkansas, for instance.
But for as large as the U.S. population is, and then as our perception is that it's a small percentage of that population actually plays. When you look at a place like Finland or Sweden, they don't have as many players playing in the country total at all age levels, yet they produce highly talented elite players, right?
So that's the difference. If you play hockey in Finland and Sweden, you're getting extremely good instruction by comparison to the United States, where you get the best instruction you can where you're at, and it's crap, basically.
Could be. Depends on where you are.
Depends on where you are. Yeah.
Depends on who your coaches are at different age levels and times in your life.
Going to bat here quickly for the coaching fraternity for Eric and I, because we are USA Hockey.
Well, I didn't say in Maryland.
But I think
shots
too,
fired.
I think like 10 years ago, I think a lot of that holds true. I think now, like, you're seeing a bigger chunk of talented United States hockey players coming up. Finland and Sweden are still churning kids out left and right, but I think USA, especially the way they did, the ADM the last couple of years, and then a massive push, I would call it like a massive groundswell of like really smart programs in either USA junior hockey, like you look at Chicago Steel, United States National Team Development Program, NCAA, the way a lot of those coaches are, really try to push kids not only to stay the full 4 years, get your degree, and then, potentially go pro. They're churning out kids too. So it helps a ton. And the funny thing is, Sweden and Finland and some of the other European countries, the way USA Hockey is preaching to do it / doing it, those countries have been doing it for decades. We're not even like I think we're about 10 years in to ADM, roughly, give or take. So funny how that works.
And actually, there's a lot of partnership between those federations. So the USA Hockey works with the Swedish and the Finnish hockey federations on developing coaching education and player curriculum and all that kind of stuff, because USA Hockey recognized that, hey, those development models that they have are working, and they're working very, very well with a limited player pool. They are out developing us, and so they form some partnerships there, and they do research together now. They're at a point where I think, the American system is now considered a peer to the Swedish and Finnish federations, and they develop things together, even though they're in competition with each other. And you'll often hear, over the last few years, Canadian broadcasting would sometimes criticize Hockey Canada for not following that, for continuing to do things, the old way, because it's the way we've always done it. In certain cases, usually happens when they lose. So everybody's pissed off, right? But you do hear it. And I think they're starting to make some movement more towards that model of developing players. It's interesting.
Yeah, because what was it? A few years ago, they came out with a stat, like kind of the whole reason they started a good chunk of the ADM was like, we're not successful at World Juniors. We're not successful at the NHL level in terms of cranking out high-level kids. And they literally just took Minnesota. And they're like, if you just take Minnesota, just take it out of the United States, it's like the 5th most hockey registrants, for the entire world. Like, so if you rank them in country, it was like Canada, US, I think it was like Russia, and then I think it was like Sweden, and then Minnesota, and then Finland. Like like everyone's like, this makes no sense. Like, how are Sweden and Finland cranking out more people than the entire state of Minnesota? And Canada is the benefit because it is a colder climate in the winter. Kids have a lot of access to open ice and ponds and lakes and whatnot. So even though for years they were getting, we could call it behind the times coaching, if you will, like the kids were still able to develop skills outside of that. But in the United States, in a good chunk of areas, especially where we live, I mean, when's the last time we were able to skate on a pond, Riggs? How long has it been now?
Like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
we're not. If we were banking on that as our main ice source, we would not be good.
And you got to wonder too about some of the other countries that just don't have access to the same resources. Like I think about like say Australia, who just churned out a hat trick scoring Nathan Walker. I mean, where do they fit in on that list? But
Well,
I did keep up with that.
Yeah, that was really cool because I didn't watch the game. I think we went out. So I woke up the next morning to a message from my buddy in Australia saying, "Oh, Nathan Walker got a hat trick," and I thought, "Oh, he must still be in the American League." So he's with I guess that's the San Antonio team for the Blues. I don't know I don't know who their AHL affiliate is anymore, but because everybody switches around so often now. But so I clicked on the link, and then it's like NHL highlights because he got called up because the Blues had a bunch of guys on COVID lists. So that was cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Always like to see that.
Absolutely.
Especially guys who are like ambassadors like that, where it's like he's the Australian hockey player. Like you think about players from Australia, and it's him. So it's great to see guys like that succeed.
End of list.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally the player.
Him and Teddy Bluger standing alone for their countries.
Actually, I looked really quick at the Latvian roster. So they have some guys that like had a cup of coffee in the NHL. You guys remember Casper Dogovins? Do you remember
Dogovins? Yeah, dude.
He did that weird shootout move in Ottawa.
Yeah.
He's playing in Europe somewhere. I was like, oh, I know that. And then Gergensen.
What up, Dogovins?
Yeah. Gergensen, I don't know if he's still in the NHL. I can't remember. I know he was with Buffalo for a while, but
I told you it was guys that you're like, oh, I know that name, but you can't think of him right now.
Yeah.
They had a cup of Joe in the NHL, and then that was it. Then they went back. Probably playing the K or another. I mean, there's tons of leagues in Europe, so they're fortunate over there.
Yeah.
What else? What else we got?
I'm cool.
No, you're not.
Nope.
Actually, we wanted to. Eric said something about it. I wrote it in the other thing.
Oh yeah, you put something in ideas.
I did. Experience versus the Utes.
It's for the Olympics. We kind of already covered it.
You could tie that into the NHL though.
This is about the USA roster though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are they going? Like,
well, if they go, they're going to be old.
Sounds like it.
Because apparently the
Poppy ain't going.
whoever's running Team USA now since the Chicago Blackhawks bullshit business, and
it's Billy G.
Stan Bowman getting shit canned.
Man, it's Billy G.
But the rumors are that they're going to put kids like Zegras and Troy Terry and some of these guys on the bubble, and they're gonna weight experience over youth, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah. Certainly not going to be as exciting to watch.
No. I mean, here's the deal. If you're
It
going to
might
lose,
have more success.
if,
Maybe.
if you're going to lose to Canada in the gold medal game anyway, you might as well be entertaining.
Yeah, have fun with it.
And
Let guys try to throw the puck over the net and stuff.
exactly. And you can
Shit.
and you could shove it. You could shove it in John Tortorella's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Tortorella. That guy. Oh, it's bad for the game that kids are doing stuff that people don't normally do. I hate that. That grinds my gears.
Coach, no fun.
Man, seriously.
Right here,
Because you know that kids were in practice
absolutely.
the next week trying it and messing around with it, working on hand-eye. That's building
Absolutely.
skills for the game. Come on,
It's
bad for the game. What an
okay.
idiot.
It's okay. Like, okay, look, I'm on the ice coaching kids every week, right?
Right.
Okay. They're all trying to do stuff in between the drills that we do. They're all trying stuff with the puck and their sticks, and they're
Sure.
trying different passes to each other and things, trying to shoot different ways and hit different spots of the net or whatever. But then when it's time for us to do our work in a drill, right? That's what we do. That's where the focus is. You can do both. It's not one or the other. Fine. It's okay, John. Not you, John.
Tortorella.
Well, so I told you last night when you and I saw each other randomly, we were talking about that somehow in the locker room. I think Tortorella, like, he made a good point, but I don't think he tied it completely together. And I don't know if he was fully making this point. Maybe he was. Like, I kind of stepped back and I love Torts for like all the, because I like the fact he goes at the media. I really like that, in fact. And I like the fact he's not afraid to like just go like, I'm sick of your questions. I'm done with this shit. And just walks out. Because like he's done it a million times, so whatever. But he said, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, it's not good for the game because this is all you're going to see. I think if he was threw a few more words in there talking about how you still have to teach kids how to think the game to get in those situations and have the skills to get to those situations. And it is an effort thing. And it's also kind of like a, smart thing. Like Trevor Zegras, because he's skilled and he can skate and do everything else and has the mind to get in those spots, he can do plays like that. He's able to do that. Now, I did kind of bring up Sonny Milano last night in a joking way because Eric's son, who I coached when he was a mite, his team has some effort issues. We'll just leave it at that. and I made the comment, like, and not in a mean way either. I said, Sonny Milano was like highly touted U.S. prospect when he broke into the league with Columbus. And yeah, he was under John Tortorella, so say whatever you want. But he was not very good away from the puck, and he didn't have the puck a lot, so that's a big problem. Now, it looks like he kind of figured some stuff out after a few years in Anaheim with a very talented line mate, so let's, temper some of that. But I don't know. That's the way I took the Torts comments. I think he was more talking about everything else that goes into the game, not the creative part.
I don't know. I mean, I think Torts is just old school. I think he wants to make players the way that he did his first year when he was coaching. And I don't know. To me, it seems, because to your point, Zegras and Milano and basically anybody who's able to get in a position where they can try the Michigan, because this is a variation on the Michigan. I don't care what anybody says. This looked like he was about to do the Michigan. The defenseman was about to counter what you saw him on the left side of the net. The defenseman was slashing his stick at him because he knew that it looked like he was about to try the Michigan. So he distracted by looking like he was going to do something and then did something different. That's adapting. That's changing. That's, like you said, that's game smarts. That's him knowing, it's like, I'm in this position where lots of people might try to do the Michigan. I'll do something similar with my teammate that I've already Like that was a set play. They've practiced that clearly. Same thing with the Kaprizov goal where they passed it back and forth behind the net on the 5-on-3, and then he just slotted it in the corner after a few passes back there. They practiced that and then realized this is the time to use it and then executed. So it's game smarts. It's adapting and finding ways to get the puck in the net in a new way. So I don't understand how that's bad for the game. I completely disagree with Tortorella. And that's all I got to say about that.
Also, I would say, like, if we're talking about the Buffalo defender, there were no Buffalo defender or defenders. There was a guy who kind of looked like he had his stick in the right position, but he was standing right next to Sonny Milano. And the other three were so shocked a guy got behind their own net for the first time, I guess, all season. Oh, how
there was a guy
here?
There was a guy on the left side of the net because that's how he would have done the goal. He would have pulled it around us, and he was like coming overhand with his stick to hack it off of his blade.
That was the guy next to Milano. He was ready for that, but
no. There was like two or three Buffalo guys in front of the net.
4 total.
But whatever.
There were 3 spectators.
3 spectators. Yeah. 3 guys watching to see what was going on, and one guy trying to overhand.
Every single one of them. There were 6 eyes on the puck, and there were no eyes on what else was going on. Like they were so surprised about what was happening. I don't think they knew what to do, so they just didn't do anything. And
when in doubt, do nothing.
Yeah,
which is what
connected.
Right. Yeah. But that's kind of what happens when you're seeing a display of skill that you're not used to seeing, or that you don't. That takes you by surprise. It's like, oh, what's he doing with it? I don't even know what to do. I don't see this so often enough to know how to defend it. So that is a high level of skill coupled with adapting and using the smarts to make the right play.
It's the same reason why McDavid can walk 3, 4, and 5 guys almost every game, because he
can't keep up.
He operates at a physical and mental speed that no one else in the league does.
Right.
No one. And I think it's more about how fast his brain processes information. And then obviously he's trained his body in order to execute movements very quickly and very fluidly. But I think it's more about his brain just operates faster than anyone else's on the ice. And so it looks like, it almost looks like he's not even trying to go through these people. He's not executing a lot of stick movements. It's a lot of power from his skating, but like it just, I don't know, man. I just think his brain is just so much faster at processing information on the ice than anyone else.
It's got to be. I mean, if he wasn't in some way more talented than other people, then people would be doing that against every defensive core in the league.
Right.
And he's the only one who's able to do it. He and a handful of other guys get a flash of brilliance now and then, but he does it repeatedly. So he's on another level.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. It's amazing.
The thing about it, even with McDavid, like in terms of his speed, like there's tons of guys in every NHL building every night where if the fan base knows or the opposing fan base knows, those players touch the puck, it gets a buzz, like you see it, you hear it. When McDavid does it, like you can almost feel it through the broadcast, even if you're not in the stands. You're like, something's going to happen. And it's almost like a law of averages kind of thing. You're like, oh, well, he got stopped this time. At some point, it's not like something's going to break his way. He's going to figure it out. He's going to move, a certain way and just make it happen. Like he's the only player where I get that sense of his speed and just his smarts and everything. McKinnon has like yes, he's fast, but it's a different kind of speed McKinnon has.
McKinnon is raw power.
It's
just he has just trained his body to a point where, like,
he's a tank.
Yeah,
it's a panzer.
It's just
going down the ice, man.
Yeah, it's unstoppable power. Like it's just
the freight train. You can't stop him when he gets something in his head. But I want to go back to what you were saying, John, and how you can just kind of feel something's about to happen. I mean, we've played beer league for a long time, and there's some guys now and then that, especially this happens in leagues where there's big disparities in skill, where there's one or two guys that are like just really, really good, and they'll get the puck behind their own net, and you just know that they're going to go score because that's how good they are, and they just have this look about them. I mean, we've seen it countless times throughout the years, and that's how it feels with McDavid in the NHL. And it's that's how big the disparity in skill, the skill gap is between them, McDavid and the rest of the NHL. It's like that one guy in beer league who's really good and can just go score whenever he wants.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're absolutely, there's certain guys, it's like you just see them and you know they're going to go score. It happens in the NHL now and then. Like it's happened with Malkin a few times in playoff runs a decade ago. You see it with Ovi all the time. It's like, he's about to score. And it just happens, you know, like you can tell that it's going to happen and then it does. It's something that the guys who play hockey can see. Like I bet you that casual fans in the seats don't see it. They're surprised by it or don't get that feeling. But guys who play, they know. They could just see it. It's like he's handling the puck on another level right now. He's stick handling in a different way. His stride's a little stronger or something. He's in that zone.
Oh no, look at Chris Russell. We'll never get a shot by him. He's going to block it again. Oh
no. He's wearing them silver shin pads.
Oh no.
Yep. Oh, by the way,
you can see him.
Don't even get me started on that worthless award.
Well, yeah, congratulations, Chris Russell. I think it's great. Like you've carved out a great NHL career. Awesome. I literally didn't even know they tracked that stat till it was announced. I was shocked because I'm like, Eric and I, who like look at the advanced stats, we're like, we've literally started getting more advanced stats in the last 2 years. And you're telling me the entire length of this dude's career, you've been tracking block shots instead of the stuff I want to see? Get the hell out of here. It's crazy. This is crazy.
No, it's this simple. Congrats on your team not ever having the puck when you're on the ice.
Yeah,
exactly. Good job, buddy. Good job.
Exactly.
His shots against per 60 has to be just nuts.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, if you're telling me there's a kid out there right now who's not just, and I'm saying all throughout the hockey world, if there's a kid somewhere, like maybe 4, 5, 6, maybe even a little older, who's like, I'm going to break Ovi's goal scoring record. Not saying it's going to happen, but that's his goal. And he'll get to the league and hopefully he lights it up. There is no child in this entire world who's like, I'm going to break Chris Russell's shot blocking record. But I can tell you, there's a youth coach out there saying, this kid can do it. I guarantee it. There's an idiot youth hockey coach. I'm going to say it now.
No, it wouldn't even be a coach. It'd be like a parent. Like my kid's going to be the next Chris Russell, calling agents and NCAA advisors to get their kid a scholarship so that they could go be the next Chris Russell shot blocker award guy.
It's just they have a highlight footage of him just
blocking shots and
just
eating pucks.
Eating pucks.
And so ends another chapter in the great book of Beers in the Lot. Thank you so much for listening to our show. We really appreciate all your support, your subscribes, your likes, your ratings and reviews. We see you. We appreciate you. And you know what? Hey, come tell us that you're listening. Go to your respective app store, download Discord, and go to beersandlot.com/Discord. It's that easy. You can get in and talk to us. And I tell you, you're not going to be sorry. There's a lot of stuff happening in Discord now. Get in there. But anyway, until next week, thanks again for listening. Have a good one.